Alright, by the Server Standard, and today we are doing an impression that I am very excited for. I'm also going to try switching it up, how I do my video arrangement a little bit, so y'all please let me know what y'all think about that in the comments below. But I'm going to go over the impression itself first, all the stuff, and then when I show off what it looks like, then I will talk about the history of the unit, or whatever it is that I am talking about. I thought that would be better, that way the portion of showing what it looks like actually kind of makes sense, since you get a turnaround. So I'll go over what I'm wearing in more detail when I wear it, and then I'll go over the history of it. But right now, we'll just get right into the kit. So this is my early war kit for 1st Infantry Division, specifically 128 in 1966. So getting into it, we have some reproduction, more Militaria, first pattern jungle fatigues. These have all the patches. We got the original Staff Sergeant patches, colorized early war first ID patch, colorized U.S. Army patch, and a name tape. The name tape is subdued. I really honestly probably shouldn't have the subdued name tape. Probably should just have no name tape, as even by 66 you see a lot of either the white or no name tape at all, because the white one really showed out. And so they took that off almost immediately. However, the subdued order did come in 1966, and so by late 66 you do start to see the subdued stuff. So I have it there just because I honestly might switch it out for a colorized one eventually, since you still do see that in 66. But I wanted to show that off, mainly to show the subdued parts, but I probably will get a colorized one eventually. Pocket litter is the same as my other jungle fatigue jacket. We got cards and bubble gum. We have a lighter in this bottom pocket, which I changed up a little bit, and then a pen and a pocket Bible and a note from home. Also, these fatigues are fantastic, and first patterns are really weird. They have a gas flap and exposed pockets. This is the first iteration of the jungle fatigues that first kind of came out with during the Pfizer time period, during 62 to 64-ish. There's no real clear date exactly, honestly. But first ID, when they arrived, they had first pattern jungle fatigues. Some units arrived with the OG 107 utility uniforms, but first ID arrived with jungle fatigues to Vietnam, and so by 66, almost all units had first pattern jungle fatigues. They decided to switch to jungle fatigues from the OG 107s because the OG 107s are very warm and aren't the best for hotter tropical environments, so they designed a jungle fatigue uniform. It is made of poplin cotton, so unlike the later third patterns I have for my late war impression, this is, you don't have those lines because it's not ripstop, it is just pure poplin cotton. So it's a little warmer, and it theoretically could tear easier. We also have epaulets. We have these side tighteners, like I said, the gas flap. We have a hanging hook on there, and of course exposed buttons. The trousers are kind of the same aspects. You have your exposed buttons, a button fly with a gas flap in it as well. And then I have an original belt and a C ration. I have some What Price Glory reproduction first pattern jungle boots. I had a bit of trouble with these because I went to go film this like 2 weeks ago, and as I was about to film, or I was about to take photos of myself, the heel and the sole popped off, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So I went and got these repaired. They're fixed. What Price Glory is usually pretty good, but I think the glue they just used for all the rubber soled boots isn't the best. So if you're gonna buy that, be careful. I have heard from some World War II guys who bought What Price Glory rough outs, that their soles would also pop off. But some guys have good, their sole never pops off, and some guys have them pop off. So it's kind of hit or miss. But I got these repaired, and they should be good now. But first pattern jungle boots, you still see a lot of the McNamara boots or the all black leather boots by 66, but the jungle boots are starting to get introduced. They would arrive with McNamara's, but they would eventually get these. Just like the jungle fatigues, these came out, first pattern jungle boots, seeing that we needed a boot for tropical environments. They started testing these out with advisors. No real clear date. 62 is kind of the earliest we've seen dates of these, but it's not really known when these really started to come out. But second patterns were also around starting 64, 65. So you could also see those in 66, but it mainly seems that you see McNamara boots and starting the arrival of jungle boots. So I got some first patterns. You can tell by the leather back and leather top and the lack of an ankle reinforcement. These are actually really accurate too. They have the correct drain holes, which my more military third patterns don't, and they actually have the correct laces. I thought it was weird. I was like, oh, these are flat laces instead of the rounded laces, but first patterns actually had flat laces. So these are actually correct laces, and even the stamping is technically correct on the inside of the tongue. I think it actually should have been outside. I can't remember. But yeah, these are really cool. Really happy to have these, and I hope they don't break again. We got some USGI socks. We got a white t-shirt. They still had white t-shirts at this time. It wasn't until around 67-ish that you start to see a full transition to OD green shirts. You do see some OD green shirts in 66, mainly guys dyeing their own white shirts, but eventually the Army would start issuing OD green shirts, probably around the end of 66, really getting into 1967. We have my helmet, which I took all the stuff off, so it's just a pure helmet because you don't see really any add-ons to the helmet band. And you don't see any graffiti early war. You do see some stuff getting shoved in the helmet band, but not much. We have my cap, my baseball cap. The boonie wasn't out this time, of course. The rank pin is kind of accurate. I don't know exactly when they started actually doing the rank pin on the hat, because when they arrived, they either had no pin or their battalion pin on their field caps, and then they eventually started putting their rank pins on their field caps. And also I've seen rank patches on field caps, so all sorts of things. I don't know exactly when they started doing that, but they did start doing that. I assume by 67 at the latest, because that's really when I start seeing it. Personal items that would go in my butt pack and my gas mask bag. We have a towel, a Crown Royal bag, and there goes the utensils, which they probably wouldn't have. You probably just have your Sea-Rat spoon. Hygiene items, so a period correct toothbrush, an original comb, and some toilet paper and toothpaste. My USGI watch, a Bible I got, which is really cool. New Bible I got at an antique store. It is from 1967. This is actually listed as being given to someone. So I might try to find whose Bible it is, but obviously they gave it up. Obviously they didn't care about it, so I will use it for now. Soap box. We have some sunburn cream. My dog tags, which have a little cross on, and a P38 can opener. And they are actually the correct early style print for the dog tags. What changed from early to late war was, I believe, I'll put it up on screen if I'm wrong, or I'll just put it up in general, but they changed your Army number, and they changed it to your Social Security number, I think. There might be some other changes, but I'll put them up, some examples. Then in here, this isn't really something that's it's early war. This is how you would get your grenades when you arrived. This is it's open right now, but this is a grenade tube, and it can hold your concussion grenades, frag grenades, smoke grenades. But yeah, this is a cardboard grenade tube. I don't know if this one's original, but I got it when I bought some of the grenades at a surplus store that I really like. So that's really cool. Mess tin, probably wouldn't have it, but I have my 66 stated mess tin, so I like showing that off. Trenching tool, that would either go on your butt pack or your ruck, typically. I'll explain why I don't have a ruck here in a bit, but really don't see it being, you have like the loaded butt packs, which First Idea was actually very renowned for. Early in 66, you kind of see it more in 1967, where we see the loaded butt packs. And speaking of that, the equipment. Below that, I have my tent poles and tent stakes. And for the equipment, I have a first pattern belt, some second pattern suspenders, one really good condition first pattern, and one second pattern ammo pouch, one first aid pouch on the ammo pouch. I really don't see them actually being put on the suspender. When they arrived, their first aid pouch would have been put, which would attached to this hook right here. But it seems like very few guys actually had them up on suspenders. I do see some guys do it, but they have them on their firing shoulder, which is really weird. And then some guys Like, you rarely see it on the left side, which is where in late war you see it all on the left side on this loop. But I do see it a lot on the first aid pouch, and I kind of copied this off of one photo I've seen. And I also put up the photos because we actually have photos of our unit of 128 in early war. There's only 2 that I have found, but they're really cool. And one thing I forgot to mention, the battalion patch on the pocket, I don't have that. Not everyone in the battalion would have, but it was a lot more common early war. Later war, you even still see it with the subdued one, which we can get. The early ones, though, it was white with the black lion and the red one. But no one reproduces those. Everyone just more military reproduces the subdued one, which is the green backing. Which I could, since I have a friend that works at more military, ask if he could produce some early war ones, which I might ask him to do, because I think that could be really cool. But yeah, for right now we don't have those, but I would like to get those, because that would be really cool. And also with the scarf for our unit, I guess I forgot to mention this, they started in 66. I don't have mine though, because in the photo of our unit they don't have them, but in 66 is when they started doing the parachute scarves. I have 2 first pattern canteen covers. Of course, second pattern canteen covers wouldn't be a thing at the time. I have 2 grenades, bayonet, which is very common to see put on the belt as it is right now hanging. The entrenching tool is also, I've seen people put it on their belts in between their canteen ammo pouches. I was thinking about doing that, but I didn't. Of course, we have my butt pack with the poncho underneath it. Not everyone actually did butt packs, which I was kind of interested about. Some guys just didn't carry their butt pack, and I was thinking about not doing it, but I wanted to show it off since it was a lot more common in 66, and I want to use my butt pack that my buddy got me. So yeah, we have my gas mask bag, which I've actually seen a good amount of gas mask bags being used by First ID early in the war. I don't know if they're actually carrying the gas mask. I'm assuming they are, but gas masks were also used later war to just carry personal items, which they might be doing in those videos and photos. I have this really cool hunting magazine that my buddy got me. It's from 1966. It is slowly falling apart, which sucks, but I'm going to try to keep it as in good condition as I can. But it is a hunting magazine, something that would have just been sent from home. Then we have my gun, which is the XM16E1. This is an airsoft gun, but it is a Colt licensed one. And it has the triangle flash hider, and it is the E1. But yeah, and then I don't have a ruck because 1, I don't have a P64 or P65 rucksack, and 2, they really only used those from moving base to base, and they would have had them low mounted with practically nothing on them. But at the Museum of the American GI this March, when we go and do that event, I will have an early war setup. I have a buddy who has a P64, and so I'm going to ask him if he can set that up like in an early war setup, and I'll take a photo of that, and when that video comes out, you'll get to see what that would have looked like. But yeah, anyways, let's go see what it looks like on me. And here's what it looks like on me. We got the first pattern jungle fatigues, got my sleeves rolled up, all the equipment is on, got my boots bloused, yeah. Now I did also forget to mention that there are leg ties to the trousers, which I'll put up a photo of. Because these were practically copied off of the paratrooper in 42 uniform from World War II. Is really what they got the inspiration for this uniform, and they kind of just carried that over into a jungle uniform. But yeah, so for quick history, which I don't have a lot of history to tell, but First AD arrived in the fall of 1965. 128 arrived specifically in October, I believe, of 1965. They were the first Army division in Vietnam besides Special Forces. And in 1965, they really just did a lot of housekeeping, building other bases and small patrolling. 1966 is really where you see the start of their large operations. You have like Operation Marauder in January of 1966. And there are so many operations they did in 1966. A lot of search and destroy, a lot of patrolling, big operations against the NVA and the VC around Saigon. So yeah, and this is how they would have been dressed. This is how they would have looked. But yeah, anyways, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you next time.